the world of stand-up comedy, it's a difficult profession. It's you up there in front of the folks, and of course you're expected to make them laugh. Meet Cherita B, or Rita B.
Rita B, there you go.
Also known as Cherita Brent.
Yeah, that's right.
Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Now, what is it like to stand up there in front of people and be funny?
It's pretty intimidating, I'll say that. First of all, it depends on how they look at you. Some people smile, some people look at you like they doubt you before you even open your mouth. So it's intimidating, but if you're prepared, you're not really worried about what the crowd is, how the crowd is going to react, because you've already got jokes that should apply to every crowd. So it is intimidating, but once you get that first laugh, the nerves just go away.
I've read that you are a shy person.
I am.
All right. If you're a shy person, how do you get out of that mindset and get in front of people and be funny?
Well, I look at it like I'm getting in character, basically. So I saw an interview with Joan Rivers, and she also said that she was shy off camera. But when you get on stage, you get in character, and it's like a performance. So I don't think it's any different than an actor or an actress who portray a certain character once they get on screen. Because some people play prostitutes. That doesn't mean that they're prostitutes in real life, but they are able to get in character once they get on stage and deliver. So for me, I look at it like I'm getting in character. My voice changes a little bit. I try to make sure I command the stage. But when I get off, I'm shaking hands and I'm shy and I'm just ready to go. It's weird.
So how do you make the transformation into character? What is your character? When you get into character,
Well,
what's your character?
One way I make the transformation is whiskey. I drink a little whiskey before my shows pretty often.
And would it steady the nerves?
Yes. So I don't drink to the point of complete intoxication. I think they would call it tipsy. So I will drink just to knock the nerves off a little bit. But when I get in when I get in character, it's kind of like how your mom would fuss at you with this stern voice, and I'm making eye contact with everybody. So my voice is a little bigger than it would be when I'm off stage. And I think my voice is where I put the most emphasis, making sure that I get their attention and I keep it, and making sure that I command the stage. So my voice and my rhythm is a little different.
How do you find material? I mean, in everyday life?
Absolutely. I categorize myself as an observational comic. So I observe the things around me, and it can get a little frustrating because I can never turn it off. So in every atmosphere or setting I'm in, I'm looking for comedy. And so often I may be somewhere listening to live music, and instead of enjoying the music, I'm looking at the people around me trying to figure out if I can discover something funny. And then I have notes in my phone and I'll write it down right then, otherwise I'm going to forget it. So being an observational comic is kind of stressful because I never turn it off.
Observational comic?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
That's what it's called.
It's really neat.
Yeah.
It's really neat. Okay,
yeah.
We're going to go to a break, and we'll be back with Rita B, also known as Cherita Brent, and we'll be talking about her career in comedy as she moves forward in her career. After this, stay with us. This is Nightique. Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507. We're with Rita B, Cherita Brent, the aspiring comic and a working comic. You're out there in front of people, right?
Yeah. Once I found out I could get paid for it, I really began taking it seriously. At first, it was like just something I said I was going to try to see if I could do. And then once I started getting offered money to do comedy, I said, oh, I need to take this seriously then. This is another stream of income. So, yeah, I'm working. I have multiple gigs a month. I've performed for family reunions, senior citizens, churches, rowdy crowds. I mean, the opportunities are limitless. I did a house party recently. That was really fun. I was in a room full of tipsy women, and everything I said they laughed at, and it was just awesome. I did comedy for like 45 minutes there.
So As far as the public out there, when they want to book Rita B, how do they book Rita B?
Oddly enough, I get a lot of inquiries from Facebook. I put up videos and I put statuses, intentionally funny statuses, because I am a comedian, so I feel like I have to portray that type of personality on social media. So I get a lot of messages on Facebook, folks asking, hey, how much do you charge? Can you do this? Can you do clean comedy? So I get a lot of inquiries from Facebook, and when I do gigs, I pass out business cards and I try to network and, you know.
So Facebook, is that a good medium for booking?
Absolutely, absolutely, because you get to showcase what you do for free, essentially. Now you can pay to promote things to get more traffic on it, but I can put up a video and I'll get 100 shares on a video and hundreds of likes, and it's just a way to showcase your talent to the world for free, and everybody gets to see it. I have thousands of friends. I only know about 100 of them, realistically, but absolutely, my social media buzz really goes up after I do like a big performance or something like that, and people will reach out and ask me about gigging. So if you are an artist of any type, I recommend taking advantage of social media.
So when someone is looking for you, is it Cherita Brent or is it Rita B?
On Facebook, I'm Rita B. Brent. Rita B. Brent on Facebook. And I have an entertainment page as well, Rita B. Entertainment, but it's getting a little bit too much to manage. My personal page is where I do the most posting, so I'm thinking about getting rid of that entertainment page because it's too much to manage. I'm way too involved in my phone.
So someone can email you or message you via Facebook and say, hey, I've got a gig I want to talk to you about.
Yeah, Facebook messages. My number is out there as well. But it's interesting when I get Facebook messages, sometimes guys will say, oh, I want to talk to you about your comedy, and then the next 5 minutes they're asking me on a date. So I have to be careful about inboxing because people will take screenshots and try to put you out there real quickly. So I'm careful about what I say in my inbox messages because some people have ulterior motives.
So you're a graduate of Jackson State Communications Department?
Yes.
Now, when you were here, was that at the pre or post digital age?
I think we were in the midst of it. It was to the point where it was picking up when students were just starting to stay on their phones all the time instead of paying attention to what the professor was saying. But I think we were in that transition to when we were going more digital, but now it is way more advanced than when I was in school. It's kind of like the avenue for everything now. So we were in the process of realizing how important digital media was about to be when I was in undergrad.
What do you think about the digital transformation of the world right now?
Oh, it's good, but it's bad too, because I think, especially when it comes to interpersonal relationships, we are so involved in our phones to the point that when we're at dinner, we're not paying attention to each other. We're refreshing our phones and trying to see what's going on Facebook, and so I am trying to be cautious of that because I've made it a huge habit of always checking my phone for nothing. There could be me not even expecting anything, but so I think balance is good and limiting yourself to how much you use technology is good. But I also think it's good, especially when you get into things like people videoing incidents or accidents happening socially, and you put up video and you have proof of something that happened. So from a social standpoint and getting proof, I think technology is very important because it's also changing the way we police people, you know. Some things are happening on video that might not have otherwise been known if some bystander had not seen it and recorded it. So I think it's good and bad too, but I think balance is important.
Yeah, it is good. I mean, like you mentioned, in some ways it opens up avenues of truth that were not available before, and it's sort of a democratization of the entertainment business because everybody has a phone and you can shoot HD video with that phone.
Yeah.
And in the old days, we had to call a company to come shoot stuff. Now you can shoot it yourself, or you can have somebody with a phone shoot it, and it's usable.
Right. I just spoke to a group of kids about the power of media and how you don't necessarily need a middleman anymore because you have the power is in the palm of your hand. So for me, when I put things on the internet, I edit it on my own. I have like a Windows Movie Maker thing. I edit on my own, and I can cut out the bad jokes and put all the good ones up, and I add transitions, and it looks professional. And I don't necessarily have a videographer background, but you know, if you have the passion, the resources are there. You know.
Right. You know, for a musician, for example, can cut a record digitally, in a studio that before they had to go to a studio. Now with the digital software packages, you can do it yourself to a great extent, and then you can sell it on CD Baby or Amazon.com.
Yeah.
And
you
you've
can even
got
pay for YouTube views, I understand.
Yeah, I
now.
mean, you've got worldwide distribution, whereas before there was a middleman in there.
Right.
There was a record label or a distributor. There were so
Right.
many pieces you had to go through to get to the public.
Right.
Now
Right.
it's all evaporated.
Yeah.
Like the old music store. You know, we were talking about that. The record store of the past. They're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because people are not buying. They're not going to the store. They're buying online.
And I wonder how artists respond to that, because for me, now on Amazon, you can listen to samples of each song. And for me, if I don't like at least half of the songs on the album, I won't buy it.
Right.
And I'm wondering how that works for artists. Are they getting cheated in any way? Because typically you would just go buy the album. There was not an opportunity for you to pre-listen to it. But
Right.
now folks are like, the single is the only thing good, so I'm not going to buy the album. But there are also multiple ways to sell it now, because they're offering it on vinyl, MP3s, and CDs as well. So
That's right, exactly. So, all right, well, let's talk about content when you're performing. What do audiences want these days? Do they want something rowdy with a lot of profanity, or is it swinging the other way? They want stuff to be clean. What's your experience?
for me, it's been half and half, if you want me to be honest. I get a lot of calls to do clean comedy for churches, and of course, they want to hear church jokes.
Right.
They are on edge because the people who book me are hoping that I don't curse. So for church people, the church jokes work really well. So I just pretty much make fun of the things that happen, maybe particularly in a church occupied by all black people. So I'll make jokes about that, and I mean it in good spirits, but it happens, and I'm the one who can expose it in a funny way, but kind of make them think as well.
So you might talk about the pastor, or you might.
Yeah, for instance, I talk about how in black folks' church we might be there for 3 hours, but in a white folks' church, you go, service starts at 8, by 8:30 you're back at home, but that's not the case with black folks' church. If you don't eat before you go to black folks' church, you're going to be in trouble. So I talk about stuff like that, but I have had my crowds where they want profanity. They want me to be raw, if you will.
Is it a younger crowd that wants that, or not necessarily?
It just depends, because there are some older people that are kind of raw, and I've been accused of being a raunchy comedian, but it all comes down to knowing. It comes down to knowing your audience. So recently I was in a room full of people who were about 40, 50 years older than me, and when I walked in, I was thinking about the jokes that I was going to tell, and I saw the age group of people, and I said, I need to make some adjustments, because some of these jokes they're not going to get if I'm talking about Facebook. There aren't 80-year-old people on Facebook, not that many.
No.
So I had to adjust on the spot and think, okay, what jokes would go over well for this age group. So it varies depending on where I am. I can get a little more raw and use more profanity. If my mom is in the audience, I'll hold back. But if she's not, then I'll probably let loose. But I don't think I'm a really profane comedian anyway. Certain words I don't use because I don't think there's a need to. And I think that if you solely depend on cursing to make the joke completely funny, you might be selling yourself short. Your content needs to be a little stronger than that. I don't think the curse word should make the punchline.
Who are your favorite comedians?
Well, I really like Chris Rock. I like Chris Rock a lot for his honesty, and I also like his boldness. He's really bold. I mean, whatever he's thinking, he's going to say it. And he also talks about political issues, and I think it's a wonderful platform for comedians to talk about issues that they're passionate about in a funny way, but bring attention to them as well in a way that makes the crowd think. So
a lot of people would say Chris Rock. I think a lot of people would say Chris Rock is probably the top guy out there right now.
Him, D.L. Hughley, he addresses a lot of political things. I've been compared to Wanda Sykes because of my delivery, or maybe because I'm black and I have natural hair. That might be why they compare me to Wanda Sykes. But Wanda talks a lot about politics as well. And when I think back in the day, I really like Richard Pryor because he was fearless. He would say anything, and he didn't care who his audience was.
Well, he was sort of like, to me, I mean, he was sort of like the guy that broke the ice.
Yeah.
Because when he came out, I mean, you had Flip Wilson, and Flip Wilson was really, sort of milquetoast. He was like very calm. I mean, he got as far as out as he got. He did an imitation of, who was that lady he used to do? He used to do a imitation of a lady. you know, Geraldine.
Oh yeah.
He used to do Geraldine, but that wasn't that far out there. But Richard Pryor was out there.
Yeah, yeah.
For the times, you know.
Yeah, I was watching a stand-up of him just earlier. But one thing that I've learned from people like Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy is that it is important to have universal comedy as well, meaning topics that everybody can relate to. Now, if I'm performing in front of a black crowd, of course, I have some content that caters to that audience, but I want to make sure that I'm versatile enough to where my content, where if I have a crowd that's a mixed crowd, that everybody will get the joke. I don't want to exclude people. And that takes time. It takes studying. It takes writing as well.
Yeah, I would imagine. Okay, well, we're talking to Rita B., Cherita Brent. We're going to come back after the break. Stay with us.
Yeah, I'm a roach whisperer. I've just always had a way with them. Now, roaches are stubborn, nasty insects, and sometimes you just gotta be forceful with them. Hi, roach! Be gone! You're not welcome here, roach!
There is a better way. Bengal Roach Spray. No odor, no mess, no roaches. Bengal Roach Spray really works.
And if whispering don't work, I always got my backup plan.
We're talking to Cherita Brent, Rita B., who is a working comic in the business. Okay, now, what happens when you're performing and you get someone out in the audience that might be a little tipsy or whatever? They heckle you, or does that throw you off?
Well, I'm fortunate that has only happened to me one time. But the funny thing is, this guy warned me before I went on stage. He said, hey, I'm going to heckle you. This is what I do. I like to heckle comedians. I like to see how good they are. So, sure enough, 5-10 minutes into my set, he began heckling me, and I dominated him. I started talking about his man parts in front of his wife, and she was embarrassed, and she told him to stop, and I dominated him for like 5 minutes because I have the power of the mic. So you can holler all you want to, but my voice is going to be louder than yours. And so I talked about his man parts for a few minutes, and he got embarrassed, and he left.
So is that the strategy? Try to embarrass them into stopping the project?
Yeah, you have to find some way to keep control of it. I mean, it has not happened to me often. I don't know why it hasn't. I'm sure it will. Because some people, they just can't control themselves for some reason. But I've never understood why you would go to a comedy show to heckle somebody. I mean, if somebody is horrible, okay, bring on the Sandman. But for somebody just doing it, trying to get shine, yeah, I have no mercy.
So now you're going to do some of your show for us tonight. Can you tell us what part of your show you're going to do?
I'll probably talk a little bit about church. The difference between black churches and white churches. And also I might talk about a little experience that I've had at work. So I won't name any coworkers, but I'll talk a little bit about that as well. Some things that I don't necessarily like for my coworkers to do when I'm at work. So my coworkers they try to behave around me because they know I'll turn something they do into a joke in a second.
Now let's talk a little bit about that, about your career.
Okay.
You are a working producer in the area of radio and television. Tell us about what you do.
Yes, I've been a public radio host for almost 4 years now. I work for Mississippi Public Broadcasting, and there I'm Cherita Brent, totally different person at MPB than I am on stage when I do comedy. So I host 3 shows. I host a legal show, I host a technology show, and I host a tourism-like show where we talk about things going on in Mississippi. But it is different. I love it. I love public radio because I get to speak with people. You get to hear different voices of people. But I'm in radio because I have a face for radio, not television. So that's why I do radio. But I love it. I love radio. It's something I can do forever. I'll always have a job. You know, I don't have to look a certain way to be on radio.
Well, do you have aspirations to do television?
I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I'm really concerned about the pressure that comes along with being on television. You have to look a certain way, like you have a suit on. When I'm on radio, I can have on pajamas and nobody would know. So to me, television is just a different kind of pressure, but it also exposes you a little more, I think, than radio does.
Yeah, you know, don't you think it's very similar, though, in a lot of ways? I mean,
I believe so.
I mean, if you're a producer or you're a host in radio, you're bringing to the table all the essential skills to do television, except television is a visual medium. So yeah, you might have to comb your hair and put a suit on, whatever. But you know, that's not a big deal. If you've
I
got
think
the skills.
you're judged tougher with television though, because you have people on the internet who are going to comment on everything. I
Well,
mean, if
that's
you have
true.
a bad outfit on, they're going to let you know it. And if you're sensitive, you can really take some of those things to heart. So
Well, you
on
can't be
radio,
too sensitive. I
no,
I
you
mean,
can't.
not in the business you're in either, with the
Right,
comedian
right.
shtick going on too. I mean, you
Right.
got to have a pretty tough skin, because you know, I mean, you're out there, you're putting yourself out there,
Yeah.
and people are gonna, you know, have criticisms no matter what you do. You
Yeah.
can't please everybody. You know, you can do anything you want. Somebody's not gonna like it, and then
Yeah.
somebody is. So
That's
what are you gonna
true.
do? You just got to do it. You just got to be yourself and do it.
Yeah, that's true. I've been given that advice as far as comedy. Everybody's not going to like your comedy. I mean, Kevin Hart is one of the biggest comedians right now out there, and I have heard people that say they don't think he's funny. But he's a millionaire. He's at a movie every other month.
I know. He's doing something
so
right.
he's funny
evidently.
to somebody. Yeah.
Somebody finds him funny. Okay, well, we're looking forward to your performance, and we'll be back with Rita B after this. Stay with us.
Bengal presents From One Legend to Another.
Good day. I must say I've deduced that Bengal roach spray is a superior product. It's kept all traces of those vile creatures from my home. Which lets me focus on more meaningful pursuits.
People trust Bengal Roach Spray's legendary performance. No odor, no mess, no roaches. Bengal Roach Spray really works.
With Bengal, I love having a little more me time.
So I'm 28 years old now, and a lot of people are concerned. They say, you 28 years old, I don't have any kids. I mean, I'm pretty happy, but there's an old lady that's a good friend of mine at church. Her name is Hattie Mae, and she came up to me the other day at church. She said, look now, Rita B, okay, you're getting older. It's about time for you to have some kids. So how is the baby making coming along? And I said, well, Hattie Mae, you about 98. It's about time for you to get out of here. How is your obituary coming along? You know, I felt kind of bad asking her that, but she was in my business. You know, I told her that I would take her to Walmart. We could pick out some coffins. I'll help her get the collage together for her program on the obituary, you know. But I love my job, unlike a lot of people. I love my job. I'm a radio host. I love my job, but I pretty much stay to myself. I think that's why my coworkers like me so much, because I stay to myself. I don't bother anybody, you know. And I have a couple rules for my coworkers to follow. Rule number 1 is, after 4:55, don't come in my office trying to talk about anything, because I don't want to hear nothing you got to say after 4:55. And one of my coworkers had to learn the hard way. One day she came in my office, it was 4:59. And she said, Rita, I want to talk to you. I need somebody to talk to you. You have a minute? I said, barely. What is it? And she said, well, I want to talk to you about my dog. My dog just died. I said, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, tell me this. How long have you known that your dog has been dead? She said, I've known since yesterday. And I said, and you wait till 4:59 to come in my office and try to get some sympathy? You don't get sympathy at 4:59. Now, if you had came in at 8:30 in the morning, I might have would have gave you a hug or something like that, but I don't want to hear nothing you got to say after 4:59, you know. And I told her, if I can be of any consolation to you, I'll tell you that all dogs go to heaven anyway, so you don't have to worry about anything, all right? But I tell my coworkers, don't come in my office after 4:55, 4:59 trying to talk about nothing, you know. Another thing, at work, sometimes people don't respect your space. If you work somewhere, let people have privacy when they need privacy. I was in the restroom at my job the other day, and I was trying to focus. I had some bad tacos the night before, and I was trying to focus. And another coworker came in the stall next to me, and she asked me a question. She said, well, how was your day? And I said, crappy. That's why I'm in here. And she was trying to have a full-blown conversation with me in the next stall, and I said that was completely inappropriate. See, because when I go in the restroom at work, I'm trying to get in and get out before somebody sees my shoes. You know, that's the mission right there, because, you know, once they see your shoes, then they're going to know it's you later on in the day. You know, you walk down the hallway, going to look down and say, oh, so that was you, and they're blowing up the bathroom earlier, you know. So now I have an extra pair of shoes at work. I take one in the bathroom with me, and then I have another pair for when I get back to the desk, you know. But they don't really make stalls like they used to anyway in the public bathroom. You know, they got a lot of space in between the stalls now. The other day I was using the bathroom in the mall, and a woman was looking through the crack of the stall looking at me like, would you hurry up and get out of there? You know, I wish they would make those stalls better than they do. My name is Rita B. That's my time. I have a special. Rita B is the new black. Is what my 1 hour special is going to be coming soon. All you have to do is follow me on Facebook, Rita B. Brent on Instagram. I'm Rita B_ENT, and I'll be giving you some more details about my special that's going to be released on DVD. Rita B is the new black. Thanks.
When you are looking to further your education, there's only one university that towers above the rest, Jackson State University. Jackson State University is one of the leading universities in research, technology, and innovation, graduating more than 1,300 students annually and a consistent growth in revenue. Jackson State University is ranked #1 amongst the HBCUs in research and development. Make the right choice, the one choice, one Jackson State University, changing lives one student at a time.
And that's Rita B. Cherita Brent, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. I enjoyed
You're
it.
our first comedian on the program.
Awesome. Making history.
Now tell us about the release of your DVD from your Alamo performance.
Yeah, Rita B is the new black. It happened June 20th at the Alamo Theater in Jackson. I think I might have been the first woman comedian to do a special there, so it was an hour. It's in the process of being edited and perfected, and it's going to be available. I'll be making some announcements on Facebook. I'll, of course, have handheld copies, so whenever I get done performing somewhere, I'll be selling them after a show. I'm going to look into getting it on Amazon as well, or you can purchase it through PayPal. So absolutely, I'll have hard copies, but I'll be making some announcements on my Facebook page.
So on your Facebook page, what is it again?
It's Rita B. Brent.
And so they can message you and find out more about the release.
Absolutely can.
That's good. Well, good luck with your career.
All right, thank you so much.
And thank you for taking the time to be with us today. And good luck with your producing job, which you do during the daytime hours over at the public broadcasting station.
That's right. I live double lives.
Double lives. Well, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Edward.
That's Rita B. And thank you, folks, for being with us. We'll see you next time on Nightique.